Well, hello. Welcome to the Tao Manifesting Tarot, the most unusual tarot reading on the internet and probably any place else. And the reason is we don't do the lollipops rainbow stuff. We keep the tarot focused. We keep the tarot focused on your ability to manifest, your ability to create pictures. What do you want your life to be like? Okay? That's a real outstanding piece of kryptonite God gave each and every one of us. Problem is, we generally manifest negatively. Well, I can't have this. I can't have them. I can't go out with this, that. It's a lot of no, 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 no. And you get a lot of no, no, no in your life, and you go, well, see, it doesn't work. I don't have anything. Well, it's because you're manifesting negatively. Now, with the Tao Manifesting Tarot, outside of focusing on manifesting, and we like to keep in mind what's going on around you because that changes your ability to manifest and what vehicle you're going to use to manifest with. All right. It's not one size fits all kind of a situation. So we take what's going on in the world and then apply the tarot energy. Think of it this way. Tarot, and I've done it for over 20 years. Tarot is the science of potential, your potential. Here in this reading, you are getting a 3-card reading because there's a magic to the number 3, a 3-card reading, and that reading has a frequency, has a message to it. Now, it's my job to make it clear, concise, clean. You understand it. Okay. But to really understand that tarot frequency, you have to take a look at what's going on in the world around you. And therefore, I use other things as well. Numerology and astrology. I've done those two things for over 50 years because they are the science of cycles within cycles within cycles within cycles. And therein lies the problem because for all the years that I've done the astrology readings and numerology readings, to try to simplify it is just insane. Now, if you go into the reading with a specific focus that you may get from a tarot reading, that simplifies things. But generally speaking, people don't do that. They have lots of questions. There's a lot of information out there. Like I said, cycles within cycles within cycles. These cycles can go on for an hour or two, a day or two, a month or two, a year or two, century or two, or even longer. And so my job is to take the numerology and astrology and bring it up to the current time, so that you can then go, oh, I see what happened then. So something similar to that is going to go on now. Now I have an idea how to apply the tarot reading, the tarot energy. Okay, so it's a question of today focusing on the Rodney Dangerfield. I don't get no respect at all. We could frame it another way, and that's to be fair. For most people, we don't feel that life is fair. We don't feel that we get any respect, any consideration from the politicians, from the businesses. We're taken advantage of abominably. And people are kind of getting wise and getting tired. You've lied to me, you've lied to me, you've lied to me year after year, decade after decade, year after year after year. Can't take it anymore. But the problem is, what do? Yeah, you don't get any respect. So let's focus on that energy in terms of tarot, and then we'll use the astrology, numerology to kind of tie in the bigger picture so it's easier to follow, easier to understand. But before I do any of that, before we take off on that, I just want to let you know I do have an email. I like to communicate whenever possible with people who check out this tarot podcast. Real simple, tau-tarot at proton.me, tau-tarot at proton.me. I do this just to get the hell away from Google. You got these big platforms, they control the flow of information to a large extent. I just want to kind of step off to the side. So it's tau-tarot at proton.me. You have anything to say, good, bad, or indifferent, that's the place that I will check it out virtually every single day, which for me actually is a real improvement because up to this point, pretty sloppy about all that kind of stuff. So the idea is I get no respect at all. So let's go to the astrology, the astrologic. Let's take a look at this continuing story I've been doing. I've been taking a look at the conquest of America. People don't think in those terms. They think America has been, at least up to recent times, pretty successful, pretty powerful, the most powerful country on earth. But you know that's not true. And if you've been following us over the past few weeks, you understand that right from the beginning, it was the bankers trying to rule the New World. And they used something that they made up themselves, the Bank of England. The King of England needed money back around 1500. He wanted to go to war. That's what kings do. And he didn't have any money. So the bankers in Europe, Rothschilds involved, said, okay, look, we'll give you the money for war because it's going to make us money. That's the number one rule in banking. War makes money. And if you don't believe me, Smedley Butler, a two-time Congressional Medal of Honor hero from World War I, wrote a book in 1933 about war being a racket. We'll get to that farther down the road because we're working our way through this conquest of America almanac, if you will. So very early on, 1700, the bank from England was already working on the colonies. And in fact, they were the ones behind the Tea Party, Boston Tea Party, because it was the Rothschilds who owned the tea company and kept squeezing. And the colonists were basically British and they loved their tea and they got pissed off. And that was the beginning of the revolution. But right after the revolution, the Rothschilds tried to put together a national bank, a private bank. They're just like, they call it, I think, the Bank of the United States. It was good for about 20 years. The lease ran out. They tried again. They had to fight for it, but they got it back. And then after the second lease, around 1830s, 40s, President Andrew Jackson said, enough. I don't trust you bankers. Thomas Jefferson didn't trust you bankers. James Monroe didn't. A lot of people who signed the Constitution did not like the private bankers. And so Jackson stopped them. They tried to kill him. They failed on the assassination attempt, but they caught up to Abraham Lincoln, who also got involved in messing with the international or European Jewish bankers. They don't like that. You don't mess with their power. They were successful in assassinating Lincoln. But Lincoln made it very clear he had two enemies. One was the South, who was trying to break away and form its own country so that it could be independent of the Bank of England, and the Bank of England. And the Bank of England caught up with him. So we are now just at the point just after this civil war in America. And we're at the point past Reconstruction where we're trying to put Humpty Dumpty back together again. You know, Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall, Humpty Dumpty grateful. All king's horses, all king's men couldn't put Humpty back together again. Well, that was kind of the situation for America. 1865, 1875, they worked like hell to try to refashion America. And of course, anytime that you refashion anything, you kind of change it unintentionally. But today we're looking at 1870 to 1875. We're finding out that Reconstruction is winding down. Things are, well, they're kind of normal in a new way. The 15th Amendment passes that gave the American black men the right to vote. The women's movement begins around this time period. Yellowstone National Park, it becomes the first national park in the world. Corporate power grows, more factories, more big companies, more big money. It was really a time that led us to World War II. The rich got richer and they showed it off. And that being the case, we could see which way America was going. America at this point, even though we did not have a private bank run by the Rothschilds yet, that'll come in 1913, even though we hadn't had that, corporate America was leaning really, really hard to make sure that they got, we're looking at the telegraph, we're looking at railroads, we're looking at big factories, we're looking at this whole thing and the expansion out west. Corporations were grabbing up all that they could. So let's take a look at the astrology then. At this time, Saturn and Uranus were in a very good relationship with each other. Saturn was in an air sign, Uranus in a fire sign. You put air and fire together and you get an explosion. And that's really what was going on. In fact, Mark Twain called it the Gilded Age. In other words, the rich just showed off their power and they didn't give a damn. Look how wealthy we are. Look what we control. And it kept moving in that direction. So the Saturn Uranus air fire combination really fueled with a passion this movement forward to grow. And we also had Jupiter and Neptune, two fire signs. So it was the same energy. And fire signs tend to be, outside of passionate and energetic, tend to be very self-centered. So Jupiter and Neptune, again, let's go back to Mark Twain's Gilded Age. The rich were getting richer and showing it off. Now, a lot of America didn't care because they were expanding westward. The government really couldn't mess with them. If you got a cabin that you built in Wyoming or Montana or Arizona, the government probably didn't have anything to do with you, and you had your freedom, you had your independence. Nevertheless, you looked all around you and you saw the shadow of corporate America. That is a shadow that we're seeing today as well. In fact, all of this really kind of coalesced in this Gilded Age between 1870 and 1875. So it was a very, very, very powerful time. We really started to pull out of the agrarian or farming society and really were becoming an industrial urban society. And that changed everything. Let's take a look at the meme for today. They conditioned you to believe poison is medicine, fraud is science, garbage is food, indoctrination is education, propaganda is news, doing your own research is dangerous, social engineering is entertainment, pedophiles are leaders, and those who speak up against any of that, well, it's obvious, they're the enemy. You see that corporate control? Yeah. And to kind of highlight this whole thing, I'm going to go to something that's, to me, hilarious. This whole idea of climate change. Climate change has gone on from the beginning of time. We have virtually no control. What we have is environmental change. We're poisoning our environment in every way that you possibly could. Nevertheless, these people from the Gilded Age in the 1870s, who've been really running the world, the corporate people, they make up this bullshit to scare us. And so climate change is one of the things that they've done and is now, frankly, if you look at the science, being debunked. But nevertheless, so here we have a cat looking kind of evil. And it says the cows farted and then all the people died. There's a big thing going on, I think, with bovine, some sort of a flu or pandemic or something in Britain right now, and they're killing off all kinds of cattle because they're afraid. It's all bullshit. You're being lied to, manipulated. And if you don't understand that, then you deserve whatever shit you get in your life because you're just being irresponsible. But I had to put this in. Then the cows farted and all the people died. Just like the people who did not get vaxxed, we all should be dead by now. We're not. Let's go to the tarot, the moon. Here's the issue. With the moon, you don't see everything. Big full moon could be the brightest, biggest, fullest moon you've ever seen in your life. But you still can't see everything. You still can't see everything. So that being the case, things can be hidden from you, and they're hiding things from us all the time. They give you one grain of truth, and then everything else after that is a lie. So it's fear and illusion, fear and illusion. This really originated in an organized way in the time period we were just talking about, right after Civil War, Reconstruction. The Gilded Age, the rich just leaned in and they pulled some nasty shit that we're paying for today because we didn't see it all. The moon, fear and illusion. Next card, Two of Cups. A lot of people look at this as go, oh, well, this is romantic. Not necessarily. And in this case, not at all. This is talking about trust, talking about connection. That's what's missing right now in the world across the board. People don't trust each other anymore. There's no connections. We're connected to our technology. Ooh, the computer. Ooh, AI. Ooh, Chat GPT. Ooh. We've stopped thinking. We're not involved with one another. I know people who don't even go outside anymore. They stay inside, exactly like the rich people in the 1870s had dreamed. Control these stupid bastards because that's the way they thought about us. So the Two of Cups is saying, I want trust in my life again. I want to make real human connections again. I don't want to settle. Final card, Four of Wands. This is the happy, happy card, right? 1111 card, harmony, stability. You got the picture in this tarot reading. Quit the fear, quit the illusion that, things are okay, that I'm all right. I don't have to pay attention. I don't have to be responsible. I don't have to act like an adult. You've been unhooked from your humanity. Two of Cups says, get back the trust in yourself first and then in others. Make that human connection. That's the only way you're going to find harmony and stability again, because conflict and chaos, that's what the rich want. Be divided, be throwing things at each other, be yelling things at one another. That gives them more power. Cut the illusion, make the connection, go for stability, real honest to God stability. That's making a difference. Hey, we're out of time. Oh man, it happens every day. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Between now and the next time we get together, please like and subscribe, like and subscribe, like and subscribe. There is some, and I'm sure most of you are not aware of it, there's some nasty shit going on the internet. More to come. Please help every podcaster out. Like and subscribe. Between now and the next time you and I get together and do this tarot kind of a thing together to manifest, peace and blessings.